Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. What's up, Graham? How's it going, man?
It's going, man. 2 weeks in on my new place. I'm loving it. Starting to get the feel of everything and getting stuff set up and more furniture moved in. Got a bigger TV. So it's slowly coming together, slowly starting to feel like a home. But that's pretty much been all I've been doing this whole week. What about you?
And let's see. Not a lot. I will say yesterday I went to sleep after work
Mm-hmm.
and I was very, very tired. I don't sleep well. Have been doing a lot of how important
Yeah.
it is for sleep. And then there was a new study yesterday that is pretty much directly linked to Alzheimer's and stuff, which doesn't help me
Oh,
get more sleep, right? That just
yeah.
scares the shit out of me. But anyway, that being said, I know the importance of it. I don't get it. Yesterday, I took a nap after work and I was so tired. It was one of those, I'll do this every few weeks because,
Yeah.
again, I don't sleep well. And yesterday, before I laid down for a nap, I'm like, man, I'm tired. I'm going to go ahead and set an alarm for the morning. 14 hours away. I just knew that I might sleep it. And sure enough, I did. I woke up this morning at like 7:30 a.m.
Holy
Yeah.
cow. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
That's just, it's not like impressive. I'm not lazy. It's just like, that's how lack of sleep I am. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
today, new schedule, right? I'm
Hmm.
rested for the first time in I guess a month, who knows? And
Yeah.
try to go to bed on time. Anyway, so real nerdy stuff for me this week.
Not too bad. Actually, my little thing I've been trying to work on for myself is I'm gonna slow down on my profanity. I'm gonna try to hold some of that back.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't like there's only a handful of curse words that's cool in my opinion.
Yeah.
Speaking of curse words, did you see Marshawn Lynch drop the F-bomb on live TV again?
Not just the F bomb, like half the dictionary he dropped on the F
Mm,
bomb.
I didn't see
Dropped on.
that. I saw the clip about it. That's
Yeah,
funny.
he said the S word. I mean, yeah, he said a few. I
Apparently after
mean,
the F-bomb, they just went to commercial and then he didn't come back.
that's funny. That
Yeah.
is funny.
I didn't get to watch the game since I
Um,
was napping, but I love Marshawn Lynch. Peyton Eli and Marshawn Lynch, bro.
that
Like, give
was
us an adult rated
yeah.
way to watch the game and just have those three. I'd pay.
Exactly. So something else that was pretty funny that happened on TV, like with sports and stuff, was Mike. Was that the head coach of Mississippi State? Did you see that?
Leach, the
Yeah,
candy.
Mike Leach talking about candy.
Dude, he's a national treasure.
Yeah, he is. We can protect him. Screw
Yeah,
Mississippi State, but protect him.
I know. He was almost Tennessee's coach. He got offered the job by two athletic directors ago.
Yeah,
Like the athletic director just offered him the job without approval, and that's why he got fired. But yeah, he's almost in Knoxville, the Pirate.
that's
Oh well.
crazy. Speaking of almost head coaches, we have two big positions open in college football right now for a head coach. Texas Tech has fired their head coach, and then LSU still on the hunt. I heard the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life the other day um,
Thanks.
on Facebook. So let me pull this up for you guys so y'all can hear this because you'll be just as appalled as I was. So my dad posts on Saturday. He posts on Facebook, and anybody can say this because Oklahoma just isn't the OU that people think are the dominant OU. That's just not that they're not. So he says a 1-5 Kansas put 23 points on the number 3-0 U. Are they really a top 5 team? Really? I don't think their weak Big 12 schedule makes them even a top 10 team. Agreed. There's not a good team in the Big 12 right now. Flat out, there is not. Might as well be beating Mountain West teams, okay? Nobody cares who you're beating right now. So, who else got upset? Oklahoma State got upset by unranked Iowa State. Crap like that happening. Okay, anyways, so this
Conference is crap. Yeah.
it is. So this guy, he posts newsflash: Texas Tech is going to hire Jimbo Fisher away from A&M with no buyout. Texas Tech has lured Fisher away for $4 million a year and the country's entire cotton crop for the duration of his stay at Tech. The most important pieces of the puzzle to get Fisher to Lubbock were knowing that we wouldn't have to play Nick Saban, wouldn't have to utter Gig'em, wouldn't be under constant pressure to win a natty, wouldn't have to wear the color maroon, and finally would not have to hear the fight song ever again. He did confide, however, that he'd probably miss the dog and good humor looking at yell leaders. Anyways, so that's pretty stupid. But here's the thing. Jimbo Fisher has a better chance of winning a national championship at A&M than winning a Big 12 championship at Texas Tech. That is 100% the truth. There is not an elite head coach in the country that will leave their job for that job. Nobody.
Not even if they suck, they're not leaving it because it's a worse school.
Yeah.
If Jimbo Fisher sucked, he wouldn't leave for it. You know, that's what I'm saying.
What would you have to do to move to Lubbock?
I don't know the area, but
okay.
Is it in the middle of nowhere, Texas, like most of the state?
Yes, it is. You are a good 2.5 hours from anything. I mean, literally anything.
Is it
like
southwest?
Like northwest.
Ooh, all right,
dude,
got it.
It's desert. There's more tumbleweeds there than people. It's terrible. It's terrible.
I mean, I wouldn't go.
There's been days in Lubbock where you wake up and it's 32 degrees and there's snow on the ground, and by the time you get out of your second class, it's 98 degrees and nothing's happened. It's like there was never snow. I'm not kidding. That has happened. It's below 30 with snow on the ground. Then you are out of your second class in Lubbock, and it is 100 degrees, hot as hell, and you're dressed for negative 20, because in Texas anything below 50 is cold.
Yeah, that doesn't sound so crazy, but West Texas, I have family there.
Dude,
I'll just take their word for it.
Dude, a desolate dump.
Texas Tech is like a C tier. You want to go A tier, B tier? C tier at best. I mean,
C tier at best.
Who will they get? Who cares?
Yeah, the LSU job may be more tempting for Jimbo Fisher just because of past, but then again, who wants to go live in Louisiana?
I like Louisiana, but that's just me.
So lots of craziness happening with head coaches though in college football this year.
Yeah, and Tennessee's new head coach. We'll see, but
so
we can get back in. We can get into that later if you know.
Let's get into it right now. It's on my list. Tennessee versus Bama was a good game.
Very, very good game.
Better part.
7 minutes left.
Yeah, for the better part of the game, it was a fight. Tennessee looked good. That you looked controlled. You looked like a really good football team who would probably beat most of the SEC teams right now.
Yeah. To that point, yeah. I mean, we made a lot of mistakes, but so did Bama, obviously, because they are more talented. So, yeah, I think it was pretty even, and I think we led by 7 at one point, and we scored 14 in a row than they did, and then it was within 7 to 14 points for most of the second half until just the lid blew off. It was like, dude, if you told me that they would cover their 20-point spread at the start of the fourth quarter when they were up 14, I'd have been like, no way, and it just snowballed, but I don't know. I'm just more impressed. It's not like a moral victory. I'm not one of those guys, but I'd say we played them better this year than any other year that I can remember, except for 2009 when we should have beat them. And we only have 70 kids on our scholarship on our entire roster. You know what I mean? Like, he's doing more with less than Butch Jones did with 15 NFL starters right now on his roster in 2016. So I'm hopeful, but yeah, I'm just glad we didn't. Again, you look at the final score, and you guys got whooped. Okay, so you didn't watch the game. Thank you, but no, we didn't. So
and that's that reflected A&M's kind of game as well, because like at the back half we let 2 scores happen in the fourth quarter. And people were like, wow, I can't believe you blew the shutout. You blew the shutout. And I was like, you didn't watch the game. You did not watch the game. Right. But we'll come back to A&M in that game. Still on Bama. Do you think Bama being exposed by Florida, A&M taking advantage of that exposure, and then Tennessee working off that same, being able to see how you can beat Bama, Tennessee using that to their advantage, and I mean it working for the better part of the game? Do you think Bama has a chance in the playoffs against these elite teams like Georgia? And I mean, do we call Ohio State back to an elite team after what they did this weekend? Bama, do you think that they'll be able to handle what they have on coming up or fall?
So I think that they win out most likely. I mean, anything can happen. So then their first real test, even before the playoff, is going to be Georgia in the SEC championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Bama will win. I think Bama has a much better offense than Georgia.
Yeah.
As we've discussed, Georgia's offense is average at best.
Yes.
And then the gap isn't as far on defense. Now, Georgia's got the best defense, but that's the difference to me. And, like we scored all over Bama. So did Florida. So did A&M. So did whatever. But Georgia doesn't run that offense. So I don't think that their offense is probably not going to score hardly anything on Bama. And Bama's offense will eventually get, 10 points, maybe, right?
Yeah.
And then that might be all it takes. So I think they're chilling there, honestly.
Okay.
If Georgia had a better offense, because I think it is really bad. Like, I mean, I don't know. Their quarterbacks are just. Whew.
I was going through the dark webs of college football on YouTube and stuff like that. Came across a couple podcasts that get a couple 100,000 views, maybe sometimes 10, 20,000 subscribers. Anyways, I was listening to what they were saying and about the A&M South Carolina game. It was hard to find anything that any big name people did just because, it was South Carolina. But, I mean, with the way that A&M played their game, I think they would have a good chance against Georgia because as long as you can score on Georgia, you have an opportunity. But that's your issue is you have to score on them. And they were allowing 6.6 points a game is what we talked about last week. Like,
yeah.
There's some flaws in Georgia's team right now, and it's all offensively. All of it's offense.
Well, and eventually your defense is going to break.
Yeah.
I'm not saying but it's just by default. Like if a defense is out there for a long period of time, those big, you know what I mean? We see it every year. So if your offense can't move the ball at all, right?
Yeah.
So let's say they 3-4 straight drives against Bama, which is likely, in my opinion. Not that Bama's offense is world beaters, but I'm saying, okay, then Georgia's defense is going to get knocked down a peg by default. So then you get to third quarter and that keeps happening. Alabama will score. They have a much better offense than Georgia does, basically.
Okay. All right. Well, then with that being said, let's get into this A&M blowout that they did to South Carolina this weekend. Halftime, there was 31-0, and Georgia had 11 total yards at halftime. It was like negative 20-something rushing yards. In fact, they had received more yardage, I guess, in total, offense, defense, whatever you want to say, through our penalties than they did on the ground all the way through three quarters or even in the air. Think about that.
That's pretty good.
At the end, their last drive of the third quarter, they had 6 total yards of offense, and A&M had 443. Both of our backs had 100-plus nights. Our defense had 10 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, and 50 total tackles that whole game. And I think 3 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, like a pure dominating defensive game. I think they were 0 for 6 in the first half on third down or something like that. We had a punt. Their first offensive drive, they punted to us, and we took that to the house to start out the game. Literally to start the game out. It was crazy. Pure dominating fashion against South Carolina.
Which is what you want. You guys.
It is.
They're bad, and you guys are good, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they're better than what they played that Saturday, I think, too, because there was some liveliness at the end of that game. Now, granted, this is where people get mistaken, is that fourth quarter, one of our star defensive ends got hurt. After that, they pulled the entire first and second string defense out, and they played third string and freshmen the rest of the game. And I still think
halftime, third quarter,
fourth quarter. It was like we had one defensive drive at the beginning of the fourth quarter. After that, third and freshman went in. They allowed 2 scores, but got 2 interceptions as well.
Yeah, and that's again, like you said, like that's not. Oh man, you guys only won by 2 scores or whatever.
Yeah,
that's not indicative.
Yeah, it's garbage time. It was garbage time with our. I mean, I don't want to say it, but the bad players that we have, or unexperienced players, I should say.
That could go start for said bad school, South Carolina, right now.
Yeah, exactly. So that happened. I do want to talk about this OU and their struggle against Kansas. Did you see any of that?
I want to say I did, but I can't remember now. But I think that they were trailing, right?
At halftime.
Yeah,
at halftime they were trailing. Yeah,
that was it. Hold on, real quick about Georgia. Quick. Sorry, I was looking up some stuff. They are tied, but second. Sorry, they are on the bottom half of offense in the SEC. Just to point back to whatever I was saying, the Tennessee-Georgia game will tell you if Tennessee's able to move the ball, score some points on Georgia. That'll tell you that they're not winning the Natty for sure, because every other team's better than us. And anyway, all right. Oklahoma. Let me pull that up. What you tell me? I did watch. I remember that now. They were down at halftime to Kansas, who's probably the worst football team in the in the Power 5 historically.
So. It was bad. It was bad. So first half 0 points for OU. Kansas had put up 10. Going into the third quarter is where things kind of got carried away. It was 14-7 through the third quarter, and then 21-6. I believe that's what that is in the fourth quarter, and that's where they kind of blew it open. Oklahoma honestly, it just looks like Kansas' defense gave up. They got probably too tired, too worn out. No Big 12 team really cares too much about their defense, I think. So it was expected that somebody's defense was going to fall here. It happened to be Kansas's. So Oklahoma was able to take advantage of that in really stupid ways. Like there was one time where their quarterback took the ball as their running back was getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, and then ended up running it in for a touchdown or running it up for a first down or something like that. It was like real cheesy plays that if Oklahoma were to ever play Alabama would beat them 55-0 this year. I'm telling you, Oklahoma is not a number 3 team. Iowa would beat Oklahoma. Okay.
Yeah.
Iowa would beat Oklahoma. Cincinnati would beat Oklahoma. Alabama would beat Oklahoma. Georgia would beat Oklahoma. A&M would beat Oklahoma.
I think Tennessee might with their offense.
Tennessee
could never stop us, right?
Yeah, Tennessee could probably beat them. Pretty much any of the SEC teams except probably SC, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt.
Yeah, we said SEC. I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. Notre Dame would beat OU. SMU would probably beat OU. I mean, OU is not good. They are not the number 3 team. They have Texas Tech, Baylor, Iowa, and then Oklahoma State to finish out their year. So they have 4 tests, kind of. They'll beat Tech. Tech sucks. They'll probably beat Baylor. Baylor's not that good. But Baylor also always plays them really hard, and they're in Waco, so Baylor could beat them.
Waco. I think Baylor does, yeah.
Iowa State will probably get beat by them. And then I think Oklahoma State beats them because they're playing at Oklahoma State, and that'll be a tough atmosphere.
Very good point. I was just looking at the top 25 since it's been updated.
Mm-hmm.
They did get knocked down to 4. But Ohio State, how do you not have Ohio State above them and Michigan? Those 2 teams, 1 loss for Ohio State, undefeated for Michigan. How are they not better than Oklahoma? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and it's because Oklahoma's 8-0. And the argument ESPN had the other day was it's because they know how to win.
Win what?
They know how to win.
Their only playoff games, right? They haven't done really.
Barely can win against Tulane. Barely can win against Nebraska. Barely can win against West Virginia. Barely wins against Kansas State. barely beats a terrible Texas team. Then goes on to defeat TCU, but after TCU put up a heck of a fight throughout the first part of that game. And then Kansas puts up a huge fight against them. Did you hear that they opened the stadium up and said anybody can come, it's free?
Yes.
Kansas State said, come on. That's crazy.
Oh, nobody will go. That's funny, though.
Like, Texas Tech, they'll beat Tech. Easy. But Baylor has a chance. Oklahoma has a good way to end the season 10-2. I think so, at least.
Yeah, and Oklahoma State, too. They always get up for that because they're little brother. It just annoys me, because they know how to win. They're meaning because they're defeated. So is Michigan. And I'm sitting here trying to find out strength of schedule. I don't care, actually. Point is, Michigan's probably overrated, as they always are.
Yeah.
But there's no way Oklahoma, whatever. They haven't won a playoff game yet, and it won't start this year.
Yeah.
That said, Cincinnati number 2 is funny. You put them in, and just get shit rocked. Excuse my language. Just get absolutely just destroyed by an SEC school, please. I want that.
Oh, and you know who they'll play first? Is going to be
Oklahoma, or for number 4, right?
They'll play number 4 first, and so they'll probably beat them, which will expose how bad Oklahoma is. And then your championship game is going to be Bama versus Cincinnati, and Bama's going to beat them 55-0.
Yeah, nobody wants that, please. But actually, I do want that. All these the mid schools, right, that are saying, give us a shot. Okay, which is why I want an 18 playoff. But okay.
See, I would be happy with if maybe we could get Bama stays at 3, Georgia stays at 1, goes to 1, right? And then Cincinnati and then Oklahoma, when you have Oklahoma play Cincinnati, right? No, you have
it'd be 2v4.
I'm trying to think of a way.
2v3.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the best way to get where it's Bama versus Georgia in the championship, but I just don't think it can happen just because Bama's better than the number 14. They are better than a number 14. They are.
I agree. The only way it happens, which is what I predict, Georgia will lose to Alabama. Okay. So with that, Bama will move up to 1. Let's assume everything stays the same, right?
Yeah.
This top 4. Georgia 1, Cincinnati 2, Bama 3, Oklahoma 4. Georgia loses to Bama. They will. Bama's 1. They could keep Georgia at 2 or 3. It doesn't really matter. I just think the last time that this happened, that they didn't want Georgia Bama to face off again. So no matter what, they won't put Georgia number 4 because they don't want 1v4. They don't want Bama Georgia back to back. They're going to try everything they can to have one of those 2 teams play another team to increase odds to where they don't meet in the championship. So Bama 1, Cincinnati 2. Sure. Let's just say Georgia Baylor loses. Bama 1, Georgia 2, Cincinnati 3, Oklahoma 4. Oklahoma's out, and then we'll have a rematch. Yeah. I think by default we'll have a rematch. That's my prediction. Again.
Yeah. All right. I'm excited to see what happens. It's coming up. 4 weeks left of college football. A&M goes into a bye this weekend. After that, then we have, I believe, Ole Miss. So we go into a bye, and then we have Auburn, and then we go Ole Miss, Prairie View A&M, and then finish out our season at LSU.
Yeah.
Sitting at 14, third in the SEC West, which is tough.
Right. Yeah. It's like recruiting every year.
Yeah.
Top 5 recruiting team as well. Well, you're 9th in the conference, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is in the SEC. You got to hate it, but you got to love it at the same time.
Yes, sir.
What's y'all season look like pinned out?
I was looking. Let me tell you. I was getting ready to do the picks, but to your point, let me see how Tennessee's looking the rest of the year. We've got. All right, bye week. Thank God, because
nice on a bye week too.
Yeah, our best offensive lineman was out. we're just really hurt. So that'll be good. And we come out of the bye week playing Kentucky, the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We will destroy them. That's my prediction. You want a hot take? We are going to beat number 12 Kentucky on their Kroger Field by at least 2 scores because you are not good. All right.
Fair
then
enough.
we got number 1 Georgia at home. If my prediction's right, and I'm kind of blowing smoke a little, I do think we beat Kentucky, but I don't think, they're bad or anything. I'm going to pick Georgia, obviously. However, if we continue to improve and we just put a lot of points up, I'm still picking Georgia, but then it's like 60-40 versus, 80-20. Then we got South Alabama W, Vanderbilt W. So I think we'll get to bowl eligible. What are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 wins no matter what, in my opinion.
Nice.
Oh, that's good.
Not bad. Yeah, I think A&M will probably end out 10-2. I believe we win out. Auburn's going to be a good contest, but we'll beat them because we're playing at A&M. I think Ole Miss is overrated because they just can score. I think they're going to have a huge issue with our defense. And then obviously Fairview, A&M, and then LSU breezes. Those will be breezes. So, let's get into this final week of SEC football, or these final 4 weeks of SEC football. Who we got coming up this weekend?
Yeah, let's do a pick 'em. I'm pulling up the schedule right now. Excuse me. All right. Oh, by the way, did you see the Kiffin drama with LSU?
No,
LSU. Kiffin's on their list, and he was on their list last time whenever they hired Coach O. And his agent was at the LSU game. But keep it in context, Kiffin's agent represents like 20 head coaches in college football. So you know what I mean? All right, week 9, SEC.
It's a slow week. It's back. One half of the SEC had off last week. This week, it's the other half of the SEC. So anybody who's wondering why it's such a short week, go ahead.
Yeah, there's only 4 games. Yeah, and it's all SEC inter-conference matchups. All right, first up, Missouri at Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt.
Nah. Dude, I can tell you one thing. I will not watch this game.
Missouri. No.
I'm going to go Missouri.
All right.
Georgia, number 1 versus Florida at home. It is the SEC game of the week. And they are playing in Jacksonville, which is the world's largest cocktail party. If you're not familiar with that, give it a Google. Mm-hmm. It's very cool environment. They play at the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium, which is tiny, but it's cool. Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia, easy. I think this would be kind of like one of those games that solidifies Georgia as the beast that they are. I say that, but I would not be surprised if Florida just somehow exposes them.
That's what I
think it's just as much a chance of Florida upsetting them as it is as Georgia blowing them out, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think Georgia wins close. I think either Florida wins or they
blow them out. Yeah.
Probably the best game intra SEC this week. Number 10 Ole Miss at 18 Auburn. 5 p.m. kick on ESPN.
Yeah. 6 p.m. CT if anybody that watches elsewhere. Ole Miss at Auburn. I'm actually thinking this should be the SEC game of the week because this is a good matchup. They are equal teams. They both have their issues.
Yeah.
Ole Miss struggled last week, or it's not the week before last. Auburn.
I'm going to go Ole Miss, but that's a toss-up. All right. Number 12, Kentucky to wrap things out at Mississippi State. Mississippi State.
Oh, all right.
The
Candyman's going to come out and upset Kentucky.
That's right. Prove me wrong, Kentucky, but you have been historically bad for about 50 years. So prove me wrong. I'm happy for it. But I think at home, that's my call. We'll see.
So before we get into the NFL football side of things, I thought about something in the middle of the week. And it's just because I've seen it a couple times. I was watching some old college football videos and went in a deep dive of some college football stuff on YouTube and come up with this theory, and they have it too. I guess I guess it's not my theory. I thought about it, but I guess I didn't come up with it because they do have a standard or a nickname of the spoiler makers. We're going to be talking about the Purdue Boilermakers today. And in my opinion, is the greatest team that never was. All right, hear me out. They are ranked number 2 in FBS history on wins against top 2 teams. All right. Since they started taking record of things, right? Purdue has beat a top 2 team 9 times. All right. 9 times. 7 of those 9 times were against the number 1 team.
That's
Purdue. Okay, that's pretty impressive. But that's over a long period of time. I think the first time they recorded that was like 1936. So I'll give it that, right? A&M's got 2 national championships, and you can say that as well, right? So I'll give it that. But in the past 10 years, they have upset number 2 Iowa, which just happened recently. They beat number 2 Ohio State. They barely lost to number 7 Wisconsin in 2017, and then in 2015 lost by only 3 to number 2 Michigan State. That's nuts. All right, and then in the past 10 years, they are 2-2 against Ohio State, and one of those was a decent win in 2011, and in 2012 they lost to them, but in overtime, and it was 29-22. Close game. Then they lost to them handedly in 2015, like 56-0, or in 2014, 2013, 56-0. And then in 2018, again, they beat them as Ohio State was number 2. They're about to play them again after they, coming off a couple weeks of upsetting Iowa. Could it happen again? I don't know. But looking at these numbers at Purdue, it shocked me on how likely they are to upset a big team in their conference like Ohio State, but just they somehow, as an unranked team, beat the dog crap out of ranked teams, top 5 teams, and then they go on to crap the bed the rest of the season. It's like, we show up for this game and this game only. Show them who we are.
That's great research, bro, by the way.
Like what? Purdue. The spoiler makers. All right. That's my just crazy thought.
I like it. Purdue. I love that research. That was awesome. That was awesome to hear.
Yeah. Thank you.
I was looking at the schedule because it was like, wait, really? And I was looking at their past schedules, just glancing.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they've ever beaten or really been close. So to your point, could they do it again? Historically, no. They're going to get the woodshed taken to them. But that's crazy. It like you said, they get up for 1 game a year.
Yeah,
it looks like.
That's it. But that 1 game a year, 9 times out of 10 has jumped them into the top 25 for at least a week.
Right.
Purdue, everybody. Purdue.
I got a friend who is a big Purdue guy, graduate. I doubt he's listening. But Pete, if you're listening, shout out Purdue. I told you a few years ago we could have taken your head coach if we wanted him, but we didn't. So continue on.
Yeah.
That's a
Purdue,
good
man.
stat, Graham.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. So that being said.
Oh, hold on. Before we end, my Tennessee Titans, put the respect on them. We beat the brakes off the Chiefs 27-3. Yeah. So we are officially.
That was what I was going to go into because it's literally number 1 thing on NFL for me to talk about was.
Okay. I'd rather hear it from you.
Okay, so I woke up that morning and I was like, oh, this looks like a good game. I had a little bit of time before I had to go see my fiance and we had to go do some things, right? So I flipped on the game and I sat there and watched it for a little bit. And I mean, handedly destroyed them in the time that I watched it. I mean,
yes.
Not only defensively, but y'all's offense is so dynamic because Derrick Henry is such a threat that they tried to do something, and then the next thing you know, Tannehill's dropping dimes. And how do you defend that? You can't when you have somebody as dynamic as Derrick Henry great. I mean, rolled the Chiefs, rolled them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, God, it just sounds so good to hear. Nobody respects the Titans. We're a smaller market team. It doesn't matter to me. If we win the Super Bowl, we win the Super Bowl. But yeah, it was great to see. Derrick Henry is we go as he goes, because you're right. I think if you put 8 in the box, if we're healthy on the offensive line, you still can't stop him from getting 2 or 3 yards every single play.
Yeah.
So then you drop in a play action and you got 2 Pro Bowl receivers. Like Julio Jones is probably a future Hall of Famer. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
If not, he's still been one of the best receivers in football for a decade. AJ Brown is great.
He is.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
One of the things they touched on about Julio Jones in the game, I heard this and I totally agree, is Julio Jones is not only great with his hands, and he may only have 3 to 4 catches a game for it's not even his routes. The man knows how to take his assignments, and he does them with completion, blocking, fakes, anything like that, where he's pulling defenders away from the play, or he's straight up blocking downfield, or blocking, to get a round off the corner or something like that. Like, the guy is a great player in the sense that he does what he's supposed to do every single play, and he does it 100%.
I like that.
I think that a lot of people get misconstrued with wide receivers, that all they're supposed to do is run a route downfield and catch the football. False. They are blocking just as much as they're running routes. And if you can do all 3 parts of being a wide receiver good, 4 parts of being a wide receiver good, I think, which he does, he's Hall of Fame material. Julio Jones is great.
I think so. That's a good point. I mean, a lot of receivers don't block.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're prima donnas historically, just like cornerbacks. And that being said, you can beat Deshaun Jackson and not block and just be thankful that you're so fast.
Yeah.
Your career's over when you're 30 and you get slowed down, right?
Exactly.
Julio, he's 30 plus and he's still got to play because he's a team player.
Exactly. He knows how to do what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's true.
Bro.
Last thing I want to
go Titans.
Yeah, last thing I want to touch on this game. Is Pat Mahomes busting this season?
Nah. I mean,
7 fantasy points.
Yeah, I know. I own him.
Yeah, and you still beat me. I'm 0-6 in fantasy. 0-6 in fantasy.
Bro, if you got Graham on the schedule, just take a breath. I'm kidding.
No, really. I have no answer. I
don't know, man. I keep saying, oh, it's Mahomes, it's the Chiefs, it's Andy Reid. They'll bounce back, and maybe they have a down year. So maybe I mean, if you say he's a bust this year, maybe it is just they've been so dang good, and maybe he does just have like a down year. I don't know. But I know he's great. I do know that.
You don't think people figured him out?
No. I don't think you figure out talent. If you've got talent. If it's a scheme, I think he would have been figured out before they won the Super Bowl. I think so.
Fair enough. All right. Well, do you have any notable things from you Sunday?
And I mean, Titans really kind of just dominated. I wanted to talk about last night's game, but hence I fell asleep for 14 hours. I had some bets written on that almost hit.
Man, close.
Yeah.
All I had was the Bucs destroyed the Bears. Tom Brady's 600 touchdown pass.
Oh, we can talk about that
situation. Yeah. So
the fan got ripped off. Your opinion?
Let's cover this real quick before we get into that, just in case nobody knows. The Bucs destroyed the Bears on Sunday, and during that time, Tom Brady threw his 600th touchdown pass, a record that will never be beaten ever in the NFL ever.
Did you see? All right, just to put it in perspective, if you guys don't know stats, John Elway, Marino, God, I'm bad with names. Like 4 other Hall of Famers have 300 touchdowns or less.
Mm-hmm.
Brady's double that. Okay, sorry.
The closest guy to him, I think, is Manning, and he's only got like I think 300 plus, 400 plus, something like that. I may be even lowballing that.
I think it's Breeze actually. They were going back and forth.
Is it? Okay.
last year, but he retired. So yeah, Brady's gonna rule forever.
So yeah, Brady will rule forever because he's still got 3 more years, and everybody knows he'll throw 20 to 25 to 50 touchdowns every year. That's just what happens. It's Tom Brady. So he throws a 600 touchdown pass. I'm sure him not knowing it, and Mike Evans not knowing that this was just the 600th touchdown pass. Mike Evans takes the football, runs it up, hands it to a fan. Ensues madness. Your perspective is this guy should have kept the football,
Well,
or taken more. Taken more.
Yeah, a jersey and $1,000 gift card to the team store.
No.
Shove it up your butt. That's what I'd have told him.
That's not what he got. I got what he got. I wrote it all down. Everything he got. Okay, you ready for this? Now let's see if this changes your mind any. I think he got a fair shake. He would have gotten more if he would have sold it, but we gotta take that out of perspective. I would have never sold it. That is something I probably would have kept. Here we go.
I would have wanted to give it to Brady.
Yeah, right.
Just because I like him, but you're gonna pay for it, Mr. Multimillionaire. You're not giving me a gift card. Okay,
exactly.
Maybe I had the info. So, I read a gift card somewhere. All right.
So 2 signed Brady jerseys, 2 of them.
All right.
Okay. 1 signed helmet. Mike Evans's game-worn jersey and game-worn cleats of that game. 2 season passes for the remainder of this season and the 2022 season. Okay, so 2 season tickets for all of this year and all of next year. Not a bad deal.
That game was in Tampa, right? Last weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was.
Okay, sorry. All right.
And then $1,000 store credit at their pro shop in the Buccaneers at the Buccaneers Stadium.
Yeah, he got ripped off. Give me money. That's all I'm hearing. Those are a bunch of. I don't care.
What was your number?
Game worn jersey. What is that? $2,000. Piss off. I don't care.
Yeah.
No one cares.
No, nobody will remember the guy who caught the 600 touchdown. Sorry.
No disrespect to Mike Evans, but I mean, a good wide receiver in the NFL's jersey goes. I mean, we've had thousands of good NFL wide receivers. Like,
so what's your price? That ball's given to you. What's your price?
If I'm the reason I was asking if it wasn't in Tampa, I forgot.
Yeah, you are a Bucs fan. You are a
right.
Bucs
If
fan.
you are a diehard Bucs fan, I'm a diehard Titans fan, but I don't live in Tennessee anymore. So
yeah,
I can't even use them. All right, let's assume I live in Tampa. I love the Bucs. I don't already have season tickets, right? And then I plan to go to many games. If I don't plan to go to many games, then it gets a little tricky.
But here's the thing: maybe you financially don't even think about going to that many games.
Well, true, right? Yeah, no one does unless you. Right. Where are the seats and stuff, right? Like that all comes into my mind. If you're putting me up in the nosebleeds, I'd rather not go. So thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I want Tom Brady's family's box
seats.
Yeah,
I want that box seat. I want AC. I want heat.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I would say like $100,000 worth of cash and stuff like that. Whatever I want.
Yeah. Any sort of mixture of cash prizes or anything like that. Okay, that's fair. So the value was released. I don't know if you heard this. So if you were to sell this thing on eBay, the value was released at $500,000 is what they believe it would have been sold for on the market, right?
Yeah. Okay.
My number would have been I would have done $100,000, but I'd also want box seats for the rest of the year and the next year. I'll take that. Box seats. Okay. Plus, I want a Make-A-Wish day with Tom Brady. I know I'm not a Make-A-Wish kid, but I want a Make-A-Wish style day with Tom Brady. Where we go play football, we go play catch, we go to the golf course, let's hit the links, let's go hang out with Trump Daddy down in Florida. Let's go do this thing. Let's go to Mar-a-Lago, play golf with Trump, and call it a good day. Mm-hmm. That's my price.
I changed my opinion. $100,000 in cash.
Okay.
Total value up to $250,000, and season tickets must be included, like in the box.
Yeah.
I'm weird. I like Brady a lot, and of course I'd like to meet him, but I didn't grow up in loving him. If this was Peyton Manning, I would get it. give me him for the day, baby. Like I want to.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah, put it into your own
he got ripped
perspective,
off.
right? Yeah,
he got ripped off.
He
Whatever.
did. He did.
Saw
Other
a
than
Barstool
that,
tweet, it was like never negotiate before leaving the stadium, right?
Oh, yeah.
You got to take that with you and take that leverage. They got you in there. They're just going to hound you to death.
Yeah. No, that's when if you received that ball, the next thing you do is you get up and leave. Leave.
Yes.
Leave the stadium. And then you call a lawyer. Yes. Because we're getting this shit worked out, my guy. The ball's mine. You can't take it from me. It was given to me. You can't do that.
How much did it work to you?
Exactly. Because did you know that it wasn't even Tom Brady doing negotiating? It's not Tom Brady's football. It's the Hall of Fame's football. Yeah. That football will go into the Hall of Fame, memorial.
That changes. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that is not
my
Tom
price is now $5, probably $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, the NFL is the one that went after that football, right. Not Tom Brady.
All right, $1 million, or I'll just go bury it in my yard.
Yeah, exactly. That or I'll sell tours at my house for $20 a pop. All right.
Yeah. Maybe $500,000 because I live in Denver and that's a very expensive house. Or a very cheap house here. But yeah, no, you're right. This isn't going to Brady. Some corporate fat suits just won it. Nah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're gonna make my day. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
You're gonna not have to work.
No. You're gonna make my life. You're gonna make my life.
Yeah.
You know what I would do? Here you go. I would do this. I would take a job getting paid $250,000 a year for the rest of my life.
To do nothing.
To do whatever I wanted to do. They could say, all right, this is all the jobs we have at the NFL. Pick which one you want to do. We'll pay you $250,000 a year.
Boom. That's exactly what I would do.
And we'll pay you out that every year for the rest of your life as long as you work here. I would take that.
Boom. I'd say
I'll take that.
Give me a list of remote jobs.
Exactly, remote jobs.
And their consequential pay. I'd pick the one that's a good point.
Yeah.
And I'd make some kind of clause to where you couldn't fire me. And
exactly. Yeah. No. Like I obviously
guaranteed 10-year salary.
Exactly. Guarantee me 10 years of salary no matter what. And then after that, obviously you can't just fire me to get rid of me. You actually if I do something bad that goes against the contract we make, okay, then you can let go. But you can't fire me because I didn't want to get vaccinated, motherfuckers. Things like that.
They'd fire you after 10 years for sure.
Oh yeah, they would.
Yeah, was it Tennessee? You don't need a cause. I don't think Colorado either.
You don't need one in Texas.
And I'm pretty sure Florida. So it's like, oh yeah, they were.
But the NFL.
I'd be like,
hold on. The NFL is unionized, meaning that after you do 10 years, it's like you're impossible to be fired from the union anyways.
Is it like that for not the players though? I wonder. The owners is
no.
They say, but
well, I'm talking about going to work for the NFL.
Yeah.
Not which is the league. The players, no. That's different.
Yeah, you're right. I'd say the league is probably more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just call me a former president. Pay me $250,000.
There we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll die.
Yeah. Silent partner, $250,000 a year.
I'll take $100K a year. I'm reasonable. If you guarantee it for life, and then you got to watch out and grow your own food and move somewhere because the NFL is just like the government. They would kill you before they'd spend that.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I'd say 25 years before I'd say death because you're dying in 2 years if so. But
yeah.
All right. Sorry, long one there.
All good. Anything? What else you got? You got anything else you want to talk about that just blew your mind this week that you just wanted to get out?
Bro, nothing blew my mind. Pretty reasonable. I will say I'm excited for Apex. Probably by next week's episode or next time we're filming the next time. I think it should be out.
I do believe. Yeah, I think it's 6 days left, so I think so.
It looks cool. Ash looks like a crazy cool legend, and I hope the map doesn't suck. So.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do a live stream with you for that and see what happens. We'll look into that.
Yeah. Did you see real quick? Did you see it's 17 named POIs? And then 12 smaller. It's the biggest map ever.
Oh wow! It looks small.
It does, yeah. Which what we're referring to, guys, is like a screenshot we've seen of you hit start on your menu and it shows you the map. So anyway, apparently it's the biggest one ever. The same guy who created World's Edge, the lead designer, created this one. So it sounds like Respawn made, because what Graham and I are referring to, it looks like complete choke.
Yeah, looks bad.
But it sounds like with everything else I just said, maybe we're wrong, and at least they at least heard that we love World's Edge. It could be this developer just sucks on this one and creates a crappy map, even though he created a good map. But at least they put the right guy on it, I think. I don't know. I'm hopeful until I have a reason not to. So I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll let you know. Well, other than that, thank you guys for tuning in for another week of the overall podcast. Sorry about the delay and everything. YouTube was being picky with me for some reason. Cody ended up having to upload the video for last week. So thanks again, guys. Appreciate patience and still clicking on the video to watch it. Follow socials if you want to.
For sure.
Other than that, we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys later.